This video is sponsored by Lolly.
I've been using GoPro cameras for the better part of a decade to help make YouTube videos, and I love them. But they've always had one frustrating shortcoming, and it took this camera to correct that. It's the DJI Osmo Action, and it might just be the new best action camera.
You probably know DJI from its drones, or maybe its smartphone gimbals, all of which are very popular. These folks aren't some fly-by-night operation doing a cheap GoPro knockoff. They've demonstrated lots of optical alacrity over the past few years. In particular, DJI really shines at stabilizing its cameras. So before we even get to the hardware itself here, I want to show you some of the footage I've shot with it over the past 2 weeks. It's fortunate that DJI is good at stability because that's something it needed to nail on its first try. Why? Well, because the competition, the GoPro Hero 7 I've been using for a couple car reviews now, is just a box full of black magic that makes any shot look like it came out of a Steadicam. And how does the Osmo Action do? Well, it brings it. Take a gander at this footage of the Osmo bouncing around on a particularly potholy Uber ride, and then check out what the camera was able to do with it. Of course, it doesn't take out the shakes entirely, but it makes the footage usable, instead of the earthquake mess you'd expect from this. For a more common example, join some familiar fellow YouTuber faces and me for a bike ride across the Google campus during Google I/O. The wide-angle lens means I didn't really have to worry about where I pointed the camera. The stabilization took care of the occasional speed bump, and the noise cancellation worked very well considering how much wind it was dealing with. Listen to how clearly Michael Josh comes through here, even though he's like 15 feet behind me.
I would love to be in your video.
Hey, buddy. Always welcome to be in my video.
Then laugh with Jaime and me as we pretend to kick Danny Winget out of the Android statues garden.
Well, sorry, you're gonna have to go. Let's get out of here. Well, but I'm Asian. I got 8 cameras.
You'll notice as we take a spin through one of Google's learning kitchens here that the audio is almost clipped too much. And that's because I kept the wind noise reduction toggle on in the software. You can turn it off to get the full scope of the surrounding sound.
Show me the second one.
I want to point out something you've probably noticed. The noise is a little high with some of those indoor shots, particularly these stills. And the color is a little washed out in some of these outdoor shots on a bright day. The scene sometimes looks slightly overexposed, like it's overcast. Well, this doesn't really solve for that indoor grain, but most of the time I wasn't shooting with HDR enabled, because frankly I didn't remember the option was there. So you kind of get used to using this touchscreen and you forget that there's a whole physical button devoted to changing modes from 4K to 4K HDR to slow motion, which I'll show you with the help of some parkour people in a second. While we're out here though, let's talk about the camera itself. The casing is dust-proof, shock-proof for drops up to 5 feet, temperature tested down to 14 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's also waterproof down to 36 feet. All pretty common for an action camera. So here's what's not. A front-mounted viewfinder.
Folks, I've spent many an hour staring into the blinking red light of a GoPro, and while it tells you it's filming, it doesn't show you what the camera is seeing. So this is a major game changer. Once you've used it, you won't want to go back.
DJI has also done a better job than I expected on the software. You swipe in from the edges of the touchscreen to change modes and settings or review videos you've already shot. For physical controls, you've got that quick switch I mentioned before. Pro tip, hold it down to flip between rear and front screens. And the record button, which will wake the camera up and start recording in a couple seconds, even if the camera is shut down. And between the status lights and all the sound effects, you'll never be confused about whether the camera's recording or not. The company held its briefing for this camera at a parkour studio in Brooklyn, where a bunch of dudes way fitter than I am did Casino Royale stuff for hours. Shooting in the maximum resolution, 1080p, at 8x speed, I was able to capture some pretty intense launches and landings. I'll mention here that the initial batch of cameras we had at this meeting were running an older firmware version, so the color science has been tweaked since. Still, I found the slow-mo quite impressive. There's a lot I haven't gotten to yet, which is why I hesitate to call this a full review. Speech commands, remote control over Wi-Fi, screw-on ND filters, the weirdo battery with its integrated door. Heck, I haven't even done the most basic test yet.
Yeah, because I want to put this side by side with the Hero 7 and put it in a vehicle mount and drive down the same bumpy road.
With a Galaxy S10 in between.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe a Pixel 3 if we want to be real fun about it.
So I'll wait to explore those in a future video. Maybe a three-way face-off between the GoPro Hero 7, Insta360, and this one. Let me know if that's something you'd watch. But after 14 days using this thing out in the real world, I think I know what I'd say to someone considering one of these. Stick around for the sponsor spot, and I'll share that afterwards. This video is brought to you by Lolly, a free browser extension that lets you earn Bitcoin just by shopping online. Now, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin can sound a little confusing, but a lot of folks believe they're the future, and companies like Lolly want to make them easier to use. Think of Lolly in the same way you'd think of a loyalty card at your favorite shop. After you install the extension, which takes all of 10 seconds, you just shop online as you normally would. If you buy from one of the more than 500 retailers Lolly partners with, you'll get a pop-up during checkout that'll give you up to 30% back in free Bitcoin. Lolly uses state-of-the-art software and network security to ensure your balance is safe. And all you need to do to start is to download the free browser extension at the link in the description. Happy shopping, and thanks to Lolly for sponsoring this video. The DJI Osmo Action is available now for $349 at DJI's website, and it'll come to retailers starting May 22nd. That's before any trade-in credits, and it's $50 cheaper than the current MSRP of the GoPro Hero 7 Black. Now, while I haven't shot side-by-side with the Hero 7, my friend David Kogan at TheUnlockr has, and to my eye, these cameras are very comparable in terms of stabilization, with some of the color accuracy points actually falling in DJI's favor. I'll link you to his video, which has a lot more fun footage, and based on that and my experience, I'll say this. I'd have paid $50 more for the Osmo Action thanks to the useful front-facing Viewfinder. So the fact that it costs $50 less and delivers footage that I'd be more than happy to use as part of a car review or rapid Nadion video, at least outdoors, well, it all adds up to an action camera I don't hesitate to recommend. Folks, I want to hear what you want to hear about action cameras. Is it a segment you'd like to see me cover more of? And would you like to see that three-way comparison I mentioned before? Drop me a line in the comments, subscribe so you don't miss it, and check out my friends' videos featuring the Osmo Action. I'm linking as many as I can find down below. Your everyday disclosure, this video produced using a DJI Osmo Action review device on loan from DJI. No compensation nor copy approval accepted or granted. DJI is seeing this video at the same time you are. Until next time, thanks for watching. And stay mobile, my friends.